us in studio this morning. Actually wearing a couple hats this morning. I give the Roswell Literacy Council, but he's actually wearing multiple hats here this morning. Larry Martin with us, wearing not only his Roswell Literacy Council, but the RSVP as well, too. So good morning. How you doing today?
Good.
Good deal. Well,
good to be here.
Yeah, it's I know COVID, like many people, put a damper on things going on, but it sounds like the Literacy Council, you guys are back to, is it all pre-COVID like you were pre-COVID or pretty close to that?
Yeah, pretty close. But the main problem we have now is that all the volunteers we had have gone to sleep or gone somewhere. And
so you need you need a new staff of people to come volunteer and be a part of the Literacy
we
Council.
we have a shall we say a solid group now. But in order to tutor the kids, and that's our main object, is to tutor citizens, not just kids.
Yeah.
But last fall, we gave someone, got them up to getting their citizenship. So that's great. You know, you teach them certain things, and mostly of them are Hispanic. We teach them English.
Sure.
And I imagine if somebody wanted to learn Hispanic, we could find you a tutor, too. So
I imagine, yeah. I mean, you could go the other way as well, too, and say, hey, I'm pretty fluent in English, but I'd love to be fluent in Spanish. Well, I'm sure we could find.
We might be able to find someone.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the Literacy Council is for all folks. If you're, we always talk about kids and literacy and making sure, and which very important. We want to make sure every child has all of that. But really, you guys work with all that. But really, you also want to make sure that adults are where they're at and they need to be. And I know adults. We've talked in the past about the percentages and how. You would be surprised the percentage of adults that live in your own backyard here that would be qualified as illiterate here just because, and they manage, they get life, and they figured out ways, but it could be so much easier if they take that time. And I don't care how old you are, how young you are, there's never a time to start learning to read and to be proficient and literate. And that's where you guys really want to make sure you get that word out to people.
Well, it helps if you can read the warning labels on food, and your prescription labels on how many pills to take a day, things like that.
Yeah,
and, that's could be life-threatening in some cases.
Absolutely, and to be honest, for that information, you're always relying on other people to tell you, and that works, I guess, but. If you're trustworthy, and you know what I mean.
If you have a memory,
exactly, in a memory, and so that's where we want. If folks are looking to be, to become better readers, to be proficient readers, maybe you can read, but it's only at like a third or fourth grade level. Let's see if we can get that to age appropriate, group level appropriate, where you can, because now the world's your oyster. Now you're not stuck getting your entertainment from just the television or, you know what I mean? You once you can read, there's nobody stopping you. Nobody telling you what you can't consume and not consume because there's no disability there to prevent you from doing that. So,
well, I remember when I was a kid, the neighborhood I was in had a bunch of books on Tarzan.
Okay.
And I read every one. It must have been about 20 of them.
Okay.
And I read every one of them when I was about 8 or 9 or so, and it was, to me, that was fantasy. That was
sure, the adventure.
Harry Potter of the day.
Yeah.
Harry Potter of the day. And one of the main things the Literacy Council puts on or works with is the Youth Challenge.
Yes.
And the last 2 years we haven't worked with them because they weren't in.
Yeah, they were locked down with COVID as well and had their own protocols and procedures.
And they're back, and we're going to be tutoring some of their guys.
Good.
And I think they start with about 100, and we tutor maybe 20 of them.
Excellent.
And it's usually just basic math and English and
the skill sets
reading.
Required to really, if they needing to obtain a GED or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, very good.
And we find that a lot of them can't. Well, almost all of them are high school dropouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to push their program too much because I don't know a lot about it. But
they do great stuff.
Oh, you betcha.
If you need help,
it's a great state investment. I guarantee that.
Please reach out to them. They're helping people all the time.
As you may notice, every time we have a parade,
they're out there.
They're in it.
Yeah. And I know one of the organizations I work with, the historical society, they, scholarships and things, they're working with them too. The Job Corps folks, they're very much part of the fabric of this community and doing a lot of stuff.
They help make Roswell.
Yeah. They contribute as much as they receive help. They give back just as much. So it's awesome.
Which means, indirectly or directly, I guess, that we need tutors to help with these youth.
Sure, so, like you said, you're about to get roughly 100 students that you got to put under your tutelage here.
That's right,
and you need some folks to help make that mission happen.
Right.
Very good.
I tutor math. I've been doing it maybe 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
I lose track, and it's enjoyable. I get 2 or 3 a year, and I always wonder where they went and what they did, but they all learn a little with me. Well, I'm sure they do with any tutor we can find that will volunteer to go out there. And we'll check you out first.
Yeah, well, they got to find out.
And make sure you know what you're doing.
Sure.
So it won't be embarrassing.
And that's the thing, too, is you don't have to, sure, if you're a teacher, a retired teacher, or involved in education and want to step up, we'd love to have you do that. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to necessarily have that background experience to contribute here. If you can read, if you can do math, if you can do these, the basic skill sets, then the Literacy Council will give you the tools to help you teach those things.
Yes,
the workbooks, the all the material and instruction stuff that you need. All we need is you to be that conduit to present that message and information to the person we're teaching it to. And be that and explain it into ways that make it understandable to them and so that they can navigate through it, helping them navigate whether it's reading or math or science or whatever basics that you need to pass the to get your GED, all those areas. If you kind of do that, and that's where you really need to help, is those people sitting down working with these students, be it adults, kids, or whatever in between. Just navigating these workbooks, navigating through the lessons, and kind of helping them have their light bulb moments to when all of it makes sense to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I noticed one of your advertisements has a lady who went back and got her GED at the age of 30. It's on your radio station.
Yeah.
And that's the point. If you reach a point where you had to drop out of high school for whatever reason,
life happens.
Yeah, it happens. So that's one of the things that the challenge does, is it tries to get GEDs for some of their kids. They can't get them all, obviously, but if you can't multiply, you'll have a hard time getting through calculus.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that for a GED.
Right.
But
you know what? You do need to multiply. You're going to need that to live. We talk math, and you'd be amazed how often you use math in the day, and probably don't even realize you're using math. Even your brain's just
that's right,
automatically doing that.
And if you can't do that, if you've depended on a calculator now for the last 10 years, like I think that. I won't criticize education too much.
Humanity has relied on this thing for everything nowadays.
Right,
this smartphone is turned into our brains, and not always for the good.
Well, like you say, a lot of it is automatic. When I see 7 and 6, I see 42.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when I teach these students, I say 7 and 6, and it takes them about 30 seconds to get to 42 because they're using their fingers.
Right.
So that's okay if they get there, but my object is to get it there faster.
Get it automatic, more shortcuts, more second nature to you. And then you get everyone. We all do it. How many times you go to the store and you're walking through and you're doing the math and you're right? There's a steak. There's potato. That's going to cost me this. That's math. That's applying these skill sets that you've been learning all the time in school, or what graduates learn to do that. This is what you'll get. So.
And you're afraid of you're doing your taxes too because your math is suspect.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
anyway,
and you feel like, well, if I messed up the grocery bill a little bit, no big deal. But you mess up your taxes, now you got, people with government initials in front of you crawling up your butt. You don't want that either.
Yeah, I won't make any comment on that.
Another discussion for another day here. But if you're interested in volunteering, maybe whether it's a couple hours a week or a couple days a month or whatever it is that you're available for, whatever it is, we'd love to have you be a part of that. What's probably the best way to reach out to you guys?
Well,
to
we're in
become
the
a volunteer?
phone book, Literacy Council.
Okay.
It might be under Roswell Literacy Council.
Okay. I think everything I've seen and heard, it's under Roswell Literacy Council. So if you don't find it under that, look under Literacy Council. But check Roswell Literacy Council first.
Yeah.
And reach out that way. And then you guys still meeting up at the office up the street here? Or
Yes,
is that
on
still
10th Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and we own the building. We take care of it. That's our major expense is keeping the building
the
running.
upkeep, the
And
paying the
because we
light
have-
bill and all that.
Yeah, we got a lot of computers and rooms to study. And
Well, in
we
essence,
have
that's your classrooms. That's your tutoring center there. So
Right.
got to have internet, got to have computers and lights and all the tools needed to educate. So very good. So, and I imagine you could probably even use help in all that type of stuff. So maybe you're thinking, well, I'm not the best at teaching, but if you need help, keeping your computers up to date, keeping, what I mean, doing all the ancillary stuff that's required of running a nonprofit organization. Probably always looking for volunteers on that side of things too. If maybe you're not good at working one-on-one with people, but you're good at making sure that the computers work and the lights work and the doors operate and all those kinds of stuff. Always looking for volunteers to kind of be a part of the part of the duck under the water where that makes the legs move 100. We need some of those people too.
That's right. You don't see them, but it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. What else do we want to mention there on the literacy council?
I was talking to a buddy of mine who we're an RSVP, which is Roswell, a retired service, senior.
I never knew what the actual RSVP stood for.
Yeah, retired senior volunteers, and
program.
Basically 55 and up.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of people retired are sitting around, like I say, picking your nose and trying to figure out what to do.
Maybe you've lost your sense of purpose a little bit because you're retired or whatever. You're like, I'm getting up and I ain't got nothing to do today. What am I going to do?
Well, if you want to get involved, we RSVP is really a central point of locating volunteers,
seniors that are looking for something.
Yeah, and put them in a position such as building new homes for
like Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, Habitat.
Okay.
And we have several. We work with Harvest Ministries, and we just find volunteers for them.
Okay.
And it's no cost. We don't charge anything. We're supported by the feds and by the state.
Nice.
A very minor amount, I might add, because we don't have many expenses.
You ain't gonna be sipping pina coladas under palm trees with this funding. Huh?
If they're doing it, they don't tell me.
No, not that kind of funding, but and so really, if you're someone 55 and up looking to get involved in more things, or maybe you're retired or about to be retired, and you're saying, you know what, because I know what happens. I'm near 50. You start thinking about things, and you're kind of like, you're thinking, man, it's gonna be great. I don't have to get up in someone else's schedule, and then you do it for a little bit, and you're like, all right, I'm kind of bored. What do you? I'm tired of doing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like I'm so used to having a laid out schedule all day, and after a while, you kind of miss it. You kind of miss that. I mean, at first you're like, woo, party, and pantsless viewings of watching TV and all the things you
But stay in your pajamas till noon, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fun for a week or two. But then after a while, you're kind of like, all right, I need something. And here's what happens is you're going to start meeting these people and get invested. And next thing you know, your passions are going to change. You're going to change from whatever your job was to seeing these people, and then you individually making an impact on these people's lives every day. And you're going to get invested, and you're going to get caring. And I dare I say, you're probably going to make some friendships and some personal relationships with some folks that will probably enhance and enrich and make your life that much better. So,
well, we know there's a lot of retired people in town.
Yeah. So let's.
We welcome you to come do something with some other retired people.
That's a big workforce of labor right there. Let's give them a purpose and put them to good use for some stuff here and helping out our community. All of which our people have chewed a lot more dirt, a lot more experience and wisdom than we possess. And let's tap into that, utilize that. That's, when we talk about humanity sometimes, I think our greatest gift and asset is that wisdom in things. It's the ability to have our elders and our folks that have experienced life passing that knowledge on to the younger generations. That's how humanity works. That's how humanity thrives and survives. So as we get older, our responsibilities change from doing the work to being the ones that mentor the people doing the work, and that's kind of our role in society at that point. And
now RSVP is under Chavez County.
under Chaves County.
Chavez County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about, if you're a senior and 55 up and have a desire to serve, look up RSVP, and maybe you don't know where. That's where I think.
It's under Chavez.
Yeah, I mean,
In the phone book.
if you want to serve but not knowing where you best can serve, I think that's where RSVP can
Well,
help
if you go
out.
in and talk to Sean, he's the gentleman there.
Oh, yeah, we've
and-
had Sean on.
Yeah,
It's been a
he's
while,
been here
but
yeah.
we've had him on show a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of times.
asked him. He said he'd been here before.
Oh, yeah,
and
he's been on quite a few.
He didn't want to go back or something like that.
I
I
must
can't
have-
remember what he said. Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway,
He didn't like my. No, I'm just kidding. Said that guy had bad breath or something.
anyway,
Just
he'll tell you what connections we have. We don't have connections with everybody. Different, I don't know, administrative techniques,
Sure.
whatever, organizations. Anyway, he can connect you to several places.
kidding. Sure.
That help the homeless, help the people in town.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps Roswell be a better city.
I think don't they get involved a lot with Senior Olympics and stuff too? RSVP.
Yes,
I think
yes.
they partner a lot with them
Yeah.
on Senior Olympics issues and things. Or
We have
not
people
issues,
down at the
needs.
Joyce Center.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they're kind of all over. They got their finger in a lot of pies around.
I
now.
can't remember all of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
But another great way to be plugged in, be connected, and to be a vessel for you to be a conduit to serve in this community.
Right.
So please look into this kind of stuff. And now that we're starting to creep out of the COVID, everyone's coming out of their homes and getting back to trying to recreate life before all this and getting it back to normal. This is how we do that. And this is so. Folks, if you'd love to get involved, maybe you're newly retired now. Maybe you weren't retired going into COVID. Now you are a retiree and thinking, you know what? Now that things are happening again, I want to get involved. I want to get active. I want to reach out. Let's get involved with the Literacy Council, RSVP, organizations like this that can do a lot of great for our community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I know the moment, and if you think, because I know there's probably other people out there that think that I'm not cut out for that. That's not me. I couldn't sit down and mentor a person on how to read. I don't know if I've got the pay. And trust me, you'll be surprised what you can do. And I'm telling you, once you have your success, your first success, then it's going to bite you like a bug. You're going to be like, that was so cool. The feeling you get when you have a person that did not understand something and not comprehend it, and then they have that light bulb moment over all that you've been talking about clicks, where for whatever it is, the reading or whatever, and then you have that moment, it's like, oh, I'm telling you, it's going to be a moment that fills you with joy and fills you with purpose, and I'm not going to lie, it's going to give you fuel to help the next one. Because there's going to be days where you get frustrated, and then you have that moment, and that just erases all the frustrations. The moment you're like, this is why I'm here today, because I just made someone's life better because of this.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all you're doing, and it's one person at a time. And so if you'd like to get involved, please reach out. Go look up the Roswell Literacy Council in the phone book. Give them a call. You guys have the Facebook. Do you still keep that active too, the Roswell Literacy Council?
I don't have
Facebook?
anything to do with that, so
Okay.
I'm not sure how active it is.
Well, you can try to leave a message. If you don't get anybody, they don't keep. You know what? Don't hesitate to shoot to us. We'll make sure it gets
We
to
do
these
take
guys.
messages. It's not someone on duty all day because we can't afford to pay them.
Sure.
So as a result, we do have a recording.
Gotcha.
You can leave a message.
Leave a
We'll
voicemail
Yeah,
if you don't get it.
voicemail. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's all volunteers. It's
Right.
all a bunch of people that are just donating of their time and energy to make the Literacy Council happen here.
Yeah.
So if there's not someone manning the phones, leave a voicemail. They get back to you as soon as someone's in the. And like I said, especially for tutoring and stuff, I imagine your hours are all over the place. It's at the convenience of the people that are needing the help. So
Exactly.
if it's the middle of the day for them that works best, then there's people in the office in the middle of the day doing it. If it's at 7:00 at night after work when they're in there doing it, then that's when they're doing it.
Well, naturally, a lot of them are retired teachers. It's obvious that they're attracted to that.
Sure. But even like some of the people you're helping, maybe they are working a full-time job. They can't afford to be out there during the day. So they're trying to get their GEDs or getting their appropriate education on the weekends and after hours and things like that. And you guys work with all that. So, yeah. And then for RSVP, what's probably the best way to reach out through there? Do you know?
The phone book under Chavez County
RSVP.
Yeah, I keep saying Chavez. I was in California. It was Chavez in California.
Well, I used to say Chavez, and then they used to give me a hard time. It's not Chavez, it's Chavez. So I've adopted it. No one's yelled at me since I said Chavez, so I guess I'm doing it right.
The Literacy Council, too. If you remember, I was there last year for the Knowledge Bowl.
Yeah.
And we were planning on doing it sometime in September or October after school gets going. And
so if you...
we won't be on a Cowboy football game day.
That's probably good planning.
That.
Yeah. Avoid any... Friday nights for high school football and Sundays for the pros. Those are 2 days in the fall you probably don't want to mess with, and because you're going to find out that a lot of other people have important priorities on those days.
Right.
So, but... so you can start putting your teams together if you haven't chance to participate. We did it the last time you guys had when I was with the American Legion post then, but we participated.
That's right. And, the Eagles has always been there, and Altru's has always been there.
And I imagine our American Legion post will be back this year putting a team in.
Good.
We have a group that loves doing trivia and doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You put your teams together here, and it's all a fundraising event for the Literacy Council. Every single dime that you pay for registration fees and all that goes to help the programs and everything at the Literacy Council. So, but yeah, you can compete for bragging rights. I think you got some prizes, some pretty cool prizes and stuff too for your winners, if I remember.
Well, it wasn't much in prizes, but we do give you snacks for the afternoon.
They do have great food.
2 or 3 hours of good fun.
If you walked away hungry from that event, you kind of it's your own fault.
It's your own fault.
You. But we had a great time and a lot of camaraderie, a lot of good. It's just fun. A little bit of banter back and forth. Everything's friendly and everything's fun, but it's just a bunch of people basically. And if I remember right, you had a good turnout. We had about 20 teams or so that were competing that year.
Well, we'd like to have more. We can put 40 of them in the Joint Center.
It looked like a lot. I just remember seeing a bunch of competitors. So
if we have to, we'll lease the convention center. But
there you go.
That'll be the future. That'll be a long way.
That'd be a good problem to have, right? Yeah. So, or maybe you have to do it outdoors someplace. It gets a wool.
We invited all the high schools, and I talked to the superintendent at the time, and we were kind of disappointed because none of them showed up.
Yeah.
None of them participated. We didn't give them enough advance or something.
They probably would have wiped the floor with us, too.
Well, they probably would have, but the questions are designed for youth, old, and middle. And
I know you guys do
sports and non-sports and history and non-history, geography. I mean, there are a lot of questions.
Yeah. So
I personally come up with.
So
don't bribe me.
A pro tip, if you're assembling your team, it behoove you to kind of try to get experts in various categories. So if you have a sports person, then, put them on the team. If you have maybe a math person, put them on the team. If you have a person who maybe is good at literature or that kind of stuff, put them on. If you've got a sports trivia or a movie buff or TV buff, try to get something from as many broad categories as possible. So that way you kind of cover all your bases as far as where the general knowledge questions.
It helps to have a teenager because he'll know all the youth questions.
Yeah, you want a youngin'.
And I will have some.
You want a youngin'. Maybe the real thing is to go generational. Get you a millennial, get you a Gen Xer, get you a baby boomer, and because you're gonna need a couple Cliff Clavin types from Cheers. You got to have those guys in there,
Mm-hmm.
the ones who have a tidbit about everything. But then you're going to need a couple on the trigger fast people too. Because sometimes knowledgeable people are pontificators, and speed is not their. They're built for comfort, not for speed. But you're going to need a little speed to get in on the.
Well, we thought it was speed was important. Like for instance, we started at a minute. Everybody had an answer in a minute. Mm-hmm. So we went down to 30 seconds, and then every once in a while someone couldn't get an answer. But generally speaking, with 5 men on a team or people on a team, one of them has an answer in 10 seconds.
Sure. You either know it or you don't.
Yeah.
And occasionally you're like, I know it. Give me a second. I got to rack the name. It's in there somewhere. And that's the biggest issue. And you're like, oh, I know who it is. I picture the face. What's the name? And that's the biggest hurdles.
Well, we also had questions. Nobody answered. So I was proud of that.
Yeah. That's your, Larry's like, not answered. I did my job.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really go. This is not trivia. This is not unimportant stuff.
Yeah. He's the stunt master.
The questions are important.
Yeah.
Geography, you really ought to know, like what's the, where's Greenland?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah. There is basic things that I think every human being should at least be aware of. You know what I mean? And you're right. That's one of them is.
In any case, get your team. I'll put a little promo here. Get your teams, 5 people. It costs $100 as a donation.
Yes.
Tax deductible if anyone wants it deducted. And we meet generally be a Sunday afternoon when everyone else is relaxing.
Yeah.
The only thing is a NFL ball game.
Yeah.
And
We'll pick it on Dallas's bye week. That way.
that's my plan.
Yeah, there you go. But look for this here in September and the fall. We'll and of course we'll get these guys in and start hyping it more as we get close to the event and getting putting out the call for teams or people that want to get involved. But in the meantime, if you'd like to reach out and be a part of the Literacy Council or RSVP, either one to volunteer to work in our community, RSVPs for our 55 and up seniors, Literacy Council. Boom to the tomb. If you're going to help, we got room for you, kind of thing. So, but for folks, seniors, retired folks, young, whatever, we'd love to have you come be a part of the Literacy Council, teaching folks to read or teaching, getting folks competent for their GEDs or English as a second language. We get a lot of folks there. So if you got some bilingual folks, that would be very useful for the Literacy Council here to help. With tutoring and training and things like that too. So, and then put the bee in the bonnet. Start putting together those Knowledge Bowl teams. Start getting your sports person, your literature person, your math person, your generational young person, old person. Token all that to cover all bases, and then assemble your team of 5 for here in September. So.
We would like to invite all of the service clubs, like Altrusa has been there a long time.
Yeah.
But Kiwanis and Rotary.
Yeah, get them all out there.
See, Lions Club was there last time, and Satoma and Optimist.
Yeah.
And like all of those guys, I challenge you to put 5 guys on there to beat the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions came in real high last year.
Yeah, Lions were, they were on their A game. I think we came in second, if I remember right, second or third. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's some. We need some competition out there. So calling out the Kiwanis and the Elks and like you said, the
American Legion was
American
there.
Legion.
Yes, so yeah,
get you out there. There's 2 posts now in the area. We can get 2 Legion teams in there. So let's get.
We get high enough, we'll get on CBS Wild World of Sports.
There you go. I heard the VFW guys are trying to get back together. Maybe you can put a Knowledge Bowl team together. Yeah. So definitely, let's get out there. So. Larry, is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to share about either that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Well, we invited all the high schools,
okay,
including Lake Arthur, and all of them in the driving distance.
Yeah.
That way.
Well, maybe now that the world's open up and stuff, people will be ready to come out for this one here in September.
So. Last year, the Youth Challenge won the high school.
Wow. So there's the gauntlet.
So that's it. And they help us run it, frankly. We'd have a hard time running it without them.
All I'm saying is, maybe Goddard, Roswell University High. I think you could take them. You got to prove it, though. You got to get out there and put out your team.
You got to get out there and prove it.
Yeah, so get out there.
Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, Lake Arthur, where are you at? Dexter, Hagerman, where are you at? Come on out there.
Yeah.
Prove your teachers that show them your teachers know what they're doing. They taught you a bunch of good stuff. Get them in there and kick some tail.
If we have time.
Yeah.
Okay. I work with RSVP, and we work with volunteer organizations, but we've noticed that I'm also with the Midday Lions Club.
Okay.
And we've noticed that the service organizations, which we have 7 or 8 in town, and they're all good organizations, and they all do a lot of work, and they have a lot of advertisements show things in the paper about Students of the Month and a lot of good stuff. So I would like to encourage the people who are not doing anything to volunteer. Check out one of these service clubs. They may be doing what you want to do.
Sure.
And you'll never know until you visit. And they will all welcome visitors.
Absolutely.
So you have to find out.
Get involved. This is and I've been saying this, for the last 2 years here with this COVID and everything. We've got to play catch up on a lot of stuff.
You got it.
Educating our kids. The nonprofit side of the world has been hurt very badly in COVID, and we've got a lot of resuscitating to do on this stuff. Some organizations have gone by the wayside. They're gone. They're just they can't recoup here, and others are trying to come out of the ashes here and be the phoenix, be the ones. And Literacy Council, like, hey, we got the resources in place. We just need the people. We need the volunteers. We need the people in need to come back. We need all of that stuff. So reach out. Now's the time, especially with schools, kids being behind the 8 ball the last 3 years in school, with not being in school or being in a virtual version, or especially these younger kids that now they're in 2nd and 3rd grade before they've ever stepped foot in a classroom. We've got some kids like that, and so things like this, the Literacy Council, are that much more important to focus on, because it's going to be things like this that help make up the difference that was lost on some of these folks over the last 3 years.
We found out with working with Challenge that guys and girls drop out of high school. And it starts back in the 3rd or 4th grade when they can't do math or they can't read. You get to be about middle school, you're a dummy in class. Mm-hmm. Pretty soon you get in high school and say, what the heck, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is emotional embarrassment.
Sure.
And if you can catch them earlier, which I congratulate grammar schools, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
You can get out of the 6th grade knowing math and reading, you've done pretty good. Mm-hmm. You have a good head start on the rest of the
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah. It's not that they don't have the ability to learn it. It's just it's the social side of it. You're not where you're supposed to be. There's ridicule, embarrassment. There's that feeling of insuperiority and all of that stuff. And that's what's dampering it. We got to put all that aside and said, I don't care. And that's what Literacy Council, I don't care if you're 75 years old.
That's right. As you get older, you can contribute somewhere. Just got to find it.
And if you're in need, I don't care. 80, you can't read, now's a great time to start doing it. But if you're still walking this earth, living and breathing, then you still got time to make yourself a better person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, Larry, as always, appreciate the visit. And like I said, we'll see you here next time. We'll definitely, as we get closer to September date here, we'll get fast and furious on getting people to sign teams up. And love to have a problem where you run out of tables at the running out of tables to put teams at.
I think our limit is 40, but we could probably squeeze put one of them in the men's room.
Yeah, we could. We get we put them in the cheap seats if we need to. Well, thank you, Larry. As always, we'll see you next time. Okay.
Thanks.